Welcome back. We're wrapping up our discussion with Barry Bussey, President and CEO of First Freedoms Foundation and author of a book called 210 Degrees Celsius, 16 Ways the Truckers Ignited Canada for the Long Haul. So Barry, just before commercial break, you were kind of explaining how I think you felt and many felt that kind of the Prime Minister at the time, Prime Minister Trudeau, kind of escalated things by not de-escalating things. So had he just met with the convoy, then perhaps things could have de-escalated, resolution tactics. What role then, he's the head of the government, so that was kind of the role of the government. And then, of course, the invocation of the Emergencies Act really escalated things. But what role did you feel or did you witness the media played in shaping public perception of the convoy? Again, they're there to defend freedoms. Protesting is legal in this country. If it's not, you're living in a dictatorship. Was there a fair portrayal over the trucker motivations?
No, not at all. In fact, if anyone would just take the opportunity and walk the streets and talk to the people, you would see what was motivating people. People were hurting. This, to me, was a perfect illustration of what happens when you have rule by bureaucracy, as we had. People were against neighbor. Reporting on neighbors who were going to a grocery store, reporting on people who were attending church services, because they were violating some bureaucratic order that they had to, stay in their homes and all of that kind of stuff.
I mean, and even Premier Legault from Quebec even proposed taxing those who did not take the COVID shot.
Yeah, exactly. And then what was happening was the spin in the media was that these are unreasonable people. And yet it's unreasonable only because the media did not understand why people took the position that they did, for example, against the vaccine. And like anytime it's human experience that if you are going to try to coerce someone to do something they do not want to do, they're going to push back.
Right.
And that's what people were doing. We all have, those of us who are parents and we have teenagers, we understand how that process works. And you just, it gets multiplied like crazy when you're dealing with adults in a country where you're trying to force them to do something that you claim to be on their own good, and yet common sense tells them, no, this is not acceptable, I'm not going to do it. And so then the media was basically saying how these people were so, extremists, they were racist, they were, you name it, anti-Semitic. And then we had that one flag with a Nazi. It was a Nazi flag, and then we had a Confederate flag, and it was just like those two flags somehow painted the whole convoy, which was just no one even knew who these people were. Were they even plants and all the rest? I found it very fascinating that just using that as an example, that the media was not at all interested in tracking down who that flag bearer was, and it's just like, it just created a great sense of, how can I say, fear against the truckers and what they stood for. But you go up and you talk with the people. If anyone just watched on the independent media as they were making their way through the crowds, I mean, I was seeing fist bumps to the police officers by the people in the crowd because they were happy that the police were there. That things, there was nothing smashed. There was no burning of buildings. There was no trashing of churches like we've seen across this country over the last, during or just before all of this and during this. It's no, that the media really, in my mind, fueled it. But I can tell you that, as I point out in the book, in my view, the way in which the government did this, it took away the legitimacy of Prime Minister Trudeau, and I am absolutely convinced that his treatment of the truckers during the convoy ultimately led to his downfall.
Really? So not just carbon tax or anything like that. It was really because he was, I guess it was in 2021, right? It was before the convoy he was reelected. Yeah, it was definitely a heavy hand. It was quite draconian. That's for certain. And then, of course, the commission kind of brought a lot of that out to the limelight. We only have about 10 seconds left. If people want to read further on this issue, where can they purchase your book?
Sure, they can go to any place where good books are sold, Amazon, you name it, all of the major sellers have it. You just go on to amazon.ca, amazon.com. And right now, Amazon has a sale on for like only $24 for the hardcover.
Okay.
Normally it sells for like $56.
Okay. Well, all the best to you, Barry. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.